lady. Camera, detect my face. There's nobody in the background unless there's a ghost. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Scyushi, and I wanted to have an hour of these videos. I don't have these videos very often, and frankly speaking, there's not like a ton of games coming out in June, but there is some things that I wanted to kind of talk about with you guys that are interested in knowing the games that I'm excited for and the games that I plan on potentially playing. Basically, in the last month video, I kind of talked about the games that were going to be coming out in May, and I did actually get around to playing most of them, but yeah, suffice to say there was Fantasy Life I, and then Elden Ring Night Rain were the big ones that I ended up playing. I'm still in the process of playing Elden Ring Night Rain, but then there was also a game called Deliver at All Costs that I didn't get to try out yet, and the Stalker Enhanced Editions. So this was something that I didn't talk about on the channel because it was just kind of a big surprise, where basically if you ended up owning a copy of the old Stalker game, you would end up getting the Enhanced Edition for free, which I think is absolutely insane considering that the Oblivion remake was sold for like, you know, half the price of a full game, but still it was, you know, it was basically the same amount of work, but just sold for like a lot more money. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten the chance to actually play through any of them. I don't know when I will, because June, we've got the Switch 2. The Switch 2 is actually coming out June 4th at a midnight sale release. So I'm gonna go pick it up, and then I'm gonna probably run home, make a video either talking about me picking it up or an unboxing video or something like that. And then we're gonna get right into playing Mario Kart World. And I'm planning on probably streaming the entire like main campaign of Mario Kart World, and then we'll have like additional streams when I can fit the time in amongst taking care of baby to actually end up exploring the open world. Then unfortunately for me, right after that on June, I think 6th, 7th, and 8th, there's a whole bunch of different game showcases that I'm going to be doing stream reactions to. However, I don't know if I can catch all of them live because they're on at times that the wife is going to end up being at work, which means I'm busy taking care of baby Leon. And so I might just have to watch the VOD, but rest assured, I will end up having my own 2 cents and having my stream reaction because we've got Summer Games Fest, PC Game Show, Future Game Show, Xbox Showcase. All the while, there has always been a Nintendo Direct in June. But I also know that Nintendo is going to be at Summer Game Show, so there's a high possibility that they'll skip the Nintendo Direct for June and instead just pour all of their advertisements to the Summer Game Show. Because of the June Nintendo Direct, I am also of the mind that we might get Metroid Prime 4 as a shadow drop in June. At least I'm copium, you know, I'm really hoping that that's going to be the case. I don't know if it's actually going to, but we did end up getting a release date for the new Pokemon game, which is going to be October of this year, which has me suspicious why Metroid Prime 4 doesn't have a release date. And if I had to guess, I think that if they shadow dropped it, Nintendo's mentality would be that that way they would have more random people buy the game that might just be hopping onto the hype train versus dedicated fans like me that'll buy it regardless of when it comes out. But okay, let's just move on. A couple other games that are really surprising to me is the Gex Trilogy is having a remake, or a remaster, I should say. The Gex games were pretty bad as far as platformers are concerned. You guys have probably already seen the Scott the Woz video making fun of it, or the Angry Video Game Nerd videos making fun of it. You know, basically at this point, Gex has kind of become like this very weird meme within like the YouTube community, even though I actually quite enjoyed the game when, you know, I was no good at it. I sucked at it because I was too young. But I'm actually looking forward to the remake. I'll probably end up doing like a one-off video of me playing it, similar to how I ended up actually covering the Croc Remaster, which is a game that you guys have probably never seen. I basically ended up beating that game in the one video and kind of leaving my feedback towards that game in that video rather than having a separate review for it. I'm gonna do something similar to the Gex Trilogy. However, I'm not entirely interested in the entirety of the Gex Trilogy, so we'll see what happens in regards to which ones I end up playing. Another game that I was kind of a little bit excited for is Bitcraft Online. You guys might have seen this one. It's basically supposed to be this new MMO that's coming out. It's terrible. I ended up trying the demo on Steam, and I also read through their terms of service, and I noticed that it is a mobile game first and foremost, which is going to end up having content blockers and cash out, pay to win stuff, and huge monetization. The game itself also runs like crap on PC, and generally speaking was just not fun at all to me. It's kind of just a crappier version of either RuneScape or Brighter Shores, which is another game made by the RuneScape developer. Anyways, let's get to one of my most hype games for June, which is the System Shock 2 Remaster, because I never ended up playing the original System Shock. For those of you that don't know, in the actual like top of the line, top hat gaming community, System Shock is pretty much responsible for like most first person shooters or RPGs, because it ended up kind of spearheading what is very, very commonly used today in video games. And a year or two ago, I ended up playing the System Shock remake made by Night Dive. That's a complete remade game from the ground up. Absolutely loved it. It ended up getting very high up on my Game of the Year list for whatever year it was. I think it was 2023 or it was 2024. I don't remember. Suffice to say, I have been patiently waiting for System Shock 2's remaster because I don't want to play the original old janky version of the game without having to apply like a bunch of patches and stuff. It is a remaster, not a remake from the ground up, but what I'm hoping happens with it is I hope that they rebalance some stuff, because out of all of the reviews and videos that I've seen of System Shock 2, it seems like there is some severe balancing issues with some of the different classes that you can choose. Now, what I'm planning on doing for that game on the channel is more than likely I'll play through the entire game and then I'll cut that down to one bite-sized video for you guys. Or I will live stream it maybe once and then continue playing through the game. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to approach it yet. But those are pretty much all the big games that I'm excited for in June. In July, we've only got like a couple games. August is only a couple games, but all of this can end up changing, especially after the summer game show and future game show and all that stuff, because we might have some stuff shadow drop. We might have some new announcements for later in the year, and we might have some great announcements for next year. Who knows? For those of you that might be new to the channel or new to Summer Games Fest, future game show and all that stuff, this is basically the I can't believe it's not E3 showcase, where we've got a whole bunch of different outlets all competing for reveals with their big boy games. Summer Games Fest, unfortunately, is Jeff Keighley's house, so it's full of ads and it's really, really boring and dragged out and probably going to end up being like 3 hours long, which is why I will not be able to catch it live, because I'm gonna be taking care of my baby boy. Future Game Show, unfortunately, has less budget, so usually we get the big boy game announcements at Summer Games Fest. Future Game Show is more interesting games because it's usually like some indie games and so on and so forth. And PC Showcase is usually the funnest of the showcases. They have like barely any budget, and so the games that they show are usually very, very wholesome, just little crappy indie games. But there's been some bangers that I've learned from those, like Core Keeper, for example. I would have never played it if I didn't see it on PC Game Show years ago. But I don't want to turn this into a ranty video talking about all that stuff. I'll just say that if you want to watch through those shows, be my guest. But if you're waiting for my reaction to it, it's going to be kind of at a random time, and you might not catch me reacting to it live, but I will post the VOD. And what I always do when I end up watching through those showcases is I will also have a cut down version of them, because frankly speaking, it's going to probably be like 4 or 5 hours of content to siphon through. And I like to give you guys the highlights of these are the games that I think were worth talking about.